Hello everybody, welcome to another video. This is the qualifying session for the first ever Malaysian Grand Prix on this track. Of course, we're gonna have multiple first ever Grand Prix here because you missed the last video. There's a new calendar update. Australia and China were meant to host the final two rounds in round 3 and 4, but now they're hosting round 5 and 6. While round 3 and 4 are going to be held by Malaysia and Turkey, and then rounds 5, 6 Australia, China. Round 7, Monaco, 8 Europe, 9th Tuscany in Italy, 10th Germany, 11th United Kingdom, 13th Madrid, 14th Portugal. I think I got my maths wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13th Portugal, 14th South Africa, and 15th is Las Vegas. But this is qualifying for the first ever Malaysian Grand Prix. It is a 5-minute qualifying session. They have 1 lap to complete, but they only have time for 1 flying lap. So you've got to make sure it's correct and make sure you don't get stuck behind a slow car. Yuki Tsunoda is out there. There's no elevation on this track in this game, but there's a bit of motion blur here. It's up. Turn the motion blur off because it was a bit too much. I have up the graphics just a little bit. Yuki Tsunoda is the first one out on the track. Alex done there, who we're watching now. It's Yuki Tsunoda out there first, and then it heads to, I think, Kimi Antonelli. No, it's not Kimi Antonelli, is it? No, it's not Kimi Antonelli, it's George Russell. I'm trying to look for him on the thing though, I can't see him. There he is. And then it has the one the Aston Martin, who I think is Lance Stroll. And I'm correct to see it's Lance Stroll. And then Verstappen, that's Hamilton. And then Antonelli. This one here, I reckon it's going to be a great overtaking opportunity. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. We've got Charles Leclerc there. And you can see that's going to be the first one to start his flying lap as he crosses the line with a lot of clean air. I'm looking down at Sergio Perez right now. Has he got any cars stuck behind him? No, but he has got Lewis Hamilton relatively close to him. And Hamilton, if he catches up too much to him, I reckon it would be quite difficult to overtake in qualifying. I reckon it would be quite difficult for him to do it. As we watch him through this long right-hander into a tight right-hander, quite blind out of nowhere. Yeah, I reckon Hamilton could be in trouble here. He's stuck in the pack of cars. As George Russell sets the fastest first sector 1. And, you know, he's also stuck behind Valtteri Bottas. I really do reckon that is going to affect... Well, not stuck behind him, but he will be stuck behind him by the end of the lap, I reckon. I reckon this could be seriously effective for him. Return when he goes now. Turn 2 kind of comes at you kind of on this track. Barriers, of course, right up there next to you. Don't run off. Yuki Tsunoda around the final corner now. There's a long hairpin. He's going to deploy his active aero here. As we see him cross the line, there's active aero front and wheel wing. Yuki Tsunoda across the line. He puts in 1 minute 17.644. It's then George Russell who puts in 1 minute 16.8. Then Lance Stroll puts in 1 minute 17.9. Now I'm losing track because all the cars are there. Alex Dunn up in second place. And then Kimi Antonelli. Charles Leclerc, he looks like he's going to be the next one to cross the line here. Charles Leclerc keeping on pole. Yes, he does. Provisional pole for Charles Leclerc. Lewis Hamilton, as incorrect, is stuck behind them. Pierre Gasly, he goes. I can't actually see where Pierre Gasly is. I can't. Lewis Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, all right there. Here they are. Pierre Gasly's P7. Lewis Hamilton only goes P18. I was right. This would have been really effective. Van Norris is the last cross line. He goes P6. And we'll want to apologise to you guys there. That's bad camera work. I was right. Lewis Hamilton was affected by being stuck behind these Cadillacs and the Porsche. Not the Porsche. The Aston. As that has literally destroyed his qualifying. But we saw Piastri who started the pack row from last race. He made his way up to somewhere in the top 10. Can maybe Hamilton do the same thing? Their pole sitter Charles Leclerc. This is brilliant for him. He goes around the final corner. My question is, for this race, will we see a race a bit like last race where we saw a bunch of shock winners and stuff and random winners, which none of us would have expected? Bit of chaos back here. Cars, of course, ghosting for each other because it's the end of qualifying. We don't ghost for each other in the race, by the way. I'm going to put that out there as your first time watching. They don't do that. Here's the starting grid then. It's Charles Leclerc on soft tyres. It's starting around the grid. George Russell also on softs. Oscar Piastri in mediums. Doing in fourth and starting on softs. I've lost track now. Norris, Gabriel Bortoletto, Pierre Gasly and Carlos Sainz. Max Verstappen. And Isaac Hadjar on 10th and 11th and 12th with Esteban Ocon. 13th is Sonny Hayes. 14th is the other Apex. Of Joshua Pierce, 15th is Ollie Behrens, 17th is Nico Hulkenberg, 18th Alex Albon, 19th Lance Stroll, 20th is Sir Lewis Hamilton, 21st is Arvid Lindblad, 22nd is Bottas, 23rd is Fernando Alonso, 24th is Sergio Perez. Sorry about that. 5 red lights. It's the lights, away they go. And it looks like Charles Leclerc gets a good start there from George Russell. George Russell is still right there on the inside. Alex Dunn battling for third on the soft tyres. Charles Leclerc leads from George Russell, from Alex Dunn, and Oscar Piastri on the inside of Alex Dunn. There's contact, and Oscar Piastri takes out Alex Dunn as a safety car at the very start, and he gets involved in another incident, hitting Sonny Hayes, who goes into Joshua Pierce. That is a safety car at the very start there. We saw that accident at turn 2. That was carnage. There is absolute... Nico Hulkenberg is out of the back there. Valtteri Bottas is also back. I wonder if they also had contact, as he took out Alex Dunn, who is in P9. Alex Dunn seems to be in this race still, but Pierre Gasly took out... Oscar Piastri took out Alex Dunn, and I feel like Hulkenberg and Bottas also collided at the start of the race. Oscar Piastri down into P12. Does he have front wing damage? I can't see any, but he took out Alex Dunn. Alex Dunn, I think his name is. As Nico Hulkenberg and Valtteri Bottas are also out this race at the very start. A first lap crash. Yes, tomorrow is at the very back of the grid. Lewis Hamilton, he made up 3 places. That's great. As Charles Leclerc leading this race, no longer under threat probably from Piastri, who was on a different strategy to them, but probably quite fast. But he will still be under threat from George Russell. There was Lando Norris in a different McLaren livery car. I'm surprised Sonny Hayes didn't get a penalty for reversing into Joshua Pierce. We saw that at the start, and I'm wondering why we didn't, he potentially didn't get a penalty for it. Oscar Piastri had me given a 5-second time penalty. I reckon because Alex Dunn is still in the race, he'll probably only be given 2 penalty points for it. But I also reckon potentially, I don't know who's at fault for Hulkenberg and Bottas, so I think that'll be let off, no penalty points. Pierre Gasly up P5 there. He would gain the places from that start crash between his teammate and Oscar Piastri. But meanwhile, Gabriel Bortoletto, he is currently sitting in P6 for Audi. Last race weekend winner, Alex Albon, currently sitting down in P16 after his, I would say, relatively disappointing qualifying. I don't actually know where he qualifies. He's ahead of Lewis Hamilton, though, still on track, as Lewis Hamilton is right behind him. Lap cars may overtake, so that does mean the safety car will be in this lap, basically. I'm pretty sure. See a smiley face on your screen there. But I really do reckon we won't see lap cars go past, because the fact there is no lap cars on track. Entering the 90-degree right-hander here. This is always a challenge for the cars to go through racing speeds. Can't imagine it's much of a challenge for them to go through during with safety car period under the Heineken design. Here, see sponsors all around the track. Now into bare bones section. Nothing really on here. I reckon that corner we just saw there, them going for there, is going to be a real proper overtaking corner for when the race restarts. There they are weaving down the straight now. They kind of come to stop on the weaving. There they were restarting it a little bit. Charles Leclerc always kind of starting it up as the safety car is ending. He packs them up now as we get ready for this Grand Prix to resume. Hopefully we see racing laps after the race has been significantly shortened. In comes the safety car now. When does Charles Leclerc go? Will George Russell catch him out in lapping? He leaves it quietly. There he goes now, I think. He is gone. And it goes green flag. As we head down the straight now, we see Charles Leclerc. He stayed ahead. There's a bit of battling at the back there. Towards the back, Charles Leclerc stayed ahead of George Russell. George Russell falls behind him. Head into the midfield, the barrier. I reckon that barrier should be removed. It's just in the way. It's not helpful for anybody. As the Apex GP cars gets very close with Joshua Pierce on the inside of Sonny Hayes. Down into his next corner now. Good. Oscar Piastri getting caught there. Double overtake for Joshua Pierce. Fastest sector one for Yuki Tsunoda. As Oscar Piastri gets straight past back. Joshua Pierce. As Sonny Hayes now is going to be running wide is Joshua Pierce, leaving Sonny Hayes now the opportunity to get really past his teammate into this now really hard left-hander. Did they push? Did they go? No, what the heck is this camera doing? 5-second penalty to Yuki Tsunoda causing a collision. A virtual safety car. Lewis Hamilton's been off the track. Tsunoda's on the wall, on the side. Lewis Hamilton was off the track there. Virtual safety car. Tsunoda was on his side in the wall. 3 cars out of this race. 21 remain. And it's only been lap 4, we've got a virtual safety car, as Lando Norris seems to be quite close to George Russell, as Charles Leclerc's got 1 second gap. Lewis Hamilton, who started P20, I want to say, up to P18, it looks like he may have lost a place there with the crash there with Yuki Tsunoda, as Lando Norris. Does he get past George Russell here? Yes, he does. Lando Norris moves up into 2nd place. And does Kimi Antonelli get past him potentially? What is this camera angle? No, he does not. He's going to continue looking at it all over George Russell on the medium tyres on lap 5. Verstappen in the pits. He's gone for hard tyres, it looks like. Yes, he is. That's Fernando Alonso on the inside of Perez. As Borla also pitted. There's a bit of contact there, it looks like. A lot better camera angle, not gonna lie. That will take a lot of graining on Fernando Alonso's tyres. Let's take a look at that. I can't seem to get the car on board. So there's another virtual safety car, and it's Alex Dunn. An amazing qualifying. Comes to no fruition. He's in the wall there, we see him there. He's now going, his car's despawned. Alex Dunn. Another virtual safety car. 4 cars are out of his race. Virtual safety car's ending. This car was signed. He's all by himself, really, isn't it? As there's Isaac Hadjar. Verstappen still not yet past Alex Dunn now. Charles Leclerc has been called up to George Russell. Has these tyres? Wow, look at the graining on them tyres for George Russell. He will have a pit soon. He's got a puncture. George Russell, he's going very slowly. He loses places to Kimi Antonelli. And George has got a puncture, I think. He has. George Russell has got a puncture at the end of the lap. Look at them tyres. He has to get them off. That is devastation for George Russell. So slow at the end of the lap. That is absolutely shocking. As they all come into the pits, but then tyres, they also look screwed on laps. Carlos Sainz's car was coming into pits there. George Russell exits the pits, but Kimi Antonelli is all over Charles Leclerc, because Charles Leclerc will also have, look at the tyres of Charles Leclerc, they're gone. Yeah, they should, yeah. Charles Leclerc's going to pit this lap, he's not going to be able to get another lap. But I'm going to take a look at Norris. Has he got the same tyre issues? Yes, he has. He also goes wide there. Charles Leclerc's been absolutely attacked by Kimi Antonelli here. Look at them tyres. They were also going. He locks up a little bit there as he heads Now down this next corner, he's got a bit of a gap in here. Lando Norris is all over Kimi Antonelli's. Kimi Antonelli ran wide. Kimi Antonelli's tyres also look a little bit forward. That's the word I'm looking for. I'd watch no, as he is looking like he's in trouble. He's in trouble as well. They're all quite close to each other now. Can Kimi Antonelli potentially get past Charles Leclerc? I'll do turn one, or Charles Leclerc going to pit. Look how close they are to Charles Leclerc. Kimi Antonelli around the outside. He's going to be stopping Charles Leclerc, be able to enter the pits here. The answer to that is no, as Charles Leclerc doesn't enter the pits. And so is Lando Norris, and I imagine so will Pierre Gasly. And Oscar Piastri does not pit. Honestly, I would have pitted Oscar Piastri at lap. But hard tyres probably. Fastest lap for Max Verstappen, 1 minute 24.4 on them hard tyres. There he is. Charles Leclerc exits the pits right in front of Verstappen. Verstappen, he could play real nuisance to Charles Leclerc. We're getting past him here, but I really don't think they're in the same race, especially given Verstappen pitted 2 laps ago and is on hard tyres. Charles Leclerc just came out of the pits and is on soft tyres. Charles Leclerc is going on the outside of Gabriel Bortoleto there. He cruises on the outside of Gabriel Bortoleto. Down for the inside for the long right-hander. Into 2. Oh, very wide for Gabriel Bortoleto. Yeah, I seem to show there. Look, he asked me if Verstappen also ran wide there. In fact, them tyres look dead already on Gabriel Bortoleto after that, and he only just pitted 2 laps ago. Carlos Sainz seems to be all over Verstappen. Carlos Sainz to the outside of Verstappen. Here we go now. Round the outside. Now he's going around the outside of Gabriel Bortoleto. This is epic racing now. Does he get past Gabriel Bortoleto? Side by side. Williams versus Audi. 4P6. Bortoleto seems to have the edge on the straight line speed. As Charles Leclerc seems to cut up to George Russell, who did undercut, in fact. Did undercut him. Kimi Antonelli is coming out the pits. It doesn't actually say he was in the pits there, so that was a bit annoying. Charles Leclerc, George Russell battling for the lead of the race. Charles Leclerc on softs, George Russell on mediums. There's a crash there! And George Russell and Charles Leclerc take each other out. George Russell gets a 5-second time penalty, but Charles Leclerc is in the wall. And he recovers now. But George Russell absolutely mounts ahead. Lewis Hamilton has the fastest lap of the race. Carlos Sainz on the inside for second place here. I can imagine he will get it. Got a huge hard hit into the wall. The pack is all tightened up now. George Russell, he must get a penalty for that. He has to get a penalty for that. That was a serious collision he caused there, George Russell. But he is the race leader, and he has got a 6-second gap, or 5.6 second gap, with a 5-second time penalty. Charles Leclerc, does he have any damage? That's a good question. I don't think he does. As we actually go look at George Russell, who is going very, very slowly. So I reckon George Russell might have some damage. Safety car deployed because there is a crash at the back. It's Lando Norris! Lando Norris is in the wall. Where is he on the wall? I can't see him. I can't see where he went off. I don't know where he went off the wall. I think his car must have despawned, but Lando Norris is out of the race. And George Russell, could he pit onto the safety car and get rid of his penalty? Lewis Hamilton, after his crash earlier on with Yuki Tsunoda, is up in P10. Does George Russell pit? George Russell does not pit. Does Charles Leclerc pit? He had that crash. Do you pit Charles Leclerc? No. Yes, you do. Charles Leclerc is in the pits. In fact, so is Carlos Sainz, and I think the whole field is gone into pits basically. Who does not pit is a good question. Kimi Antonelli does not pit, naturally. So Mercedes currently 1-2. One of the drivers has got a 5-second penalty and is on not old, but hard tyres. That would be a bit worn out after that collision. Lewis Hamilton is now up in P4, which is incredible given where he started down in P20. And how he had a crash earlier on. I don't think George Russell will be very happy with that 5-second time penalty. Multiple drivers getting penalties in this race. It's going to be a nightmare for me to add that into the Formula Game App companion, because I'm going to have to go through the race frame by frame to figure it all out, because I will forget. But he is not old, but again, as I said, probably worn out a little bit of hard tyres after that crash. So Kimi Antonelli right behind him on fresh soft tyres. It's Kimi Antonelli, but I'll come the second driver in the series to win 2 races, well, multiple races. Are we going to see our 3rd race winner of this season? Only round 3. Oh, 15 here, obviously. We go through. Oscar Piastri sitting no longer of his penalty, but he's currently sitting in P13. The only McLaren driver left in this race. He's got a lot of, I guess you can say, a lot of pressure on. Lap cars may now overtake, so I'm assuming that means on lap 11 the safety car will be coming in. And hopefully we see the remainder of the race under green flag conditions. Not gonna lie to you all, I can't see George Russell finishing in the points this race. I think we'll see a second race in a row, George Russell outside the points. I also don't see Verstappen finishing that high up in the points as well. Simply because of how old these tyres are. I mean, that's 6 laps Verstappen's been on the hard tyres. They are starting to grain just a little bit there. Yes, the majority of it's been on the safety car. But I just don't think he'll last them. I don't think Hamilton's going to finish up here as well. I really do think, and looking at Hamilton's tyres, he might seem a bit less worn. Waiting for an onboard view of Hamilton. Russell's, of course, he had that crash with Charles Leclerc, so I imagine he will be in a bit of trouble here. But I just don't see Lewis Hamilton and George Russell and Max Verstappen finishing up high. We might see them scraping points, but I do think, I also feel like Kimi Antonelli might struggle in the last lap. In fact, actually, yeah. Yes, the majority of it's been on the safety car, so he's been a lot slower. But the safety car will be in this lap, and he has spent, that means he was in spending, what, lap 12, 13 and 14, 3 laps on these tyres, and you see these tyres barely reach 2 laps. But the soft tyres, well, no, they reach only 2 laps, they barely reach 3 laps, 4 laps. I reckon these soft tyres, I reckon all the drivers on the medium tyres are the ones to be watching out for. I still think Charles Leclerc will win this race. I still think Kimi Antonelli can win this race. I think it'll be Charles Leclerc. I'm not gonna lie. He's sitting there P5. Unless he's got damage we don't know about. He did have a hard hit in that wall. I'm surprised he's still in the race. But I think it'll be Charles Leclerc who'll win this race. Here we go with Kimi Antonelli. The race safety car will be in this lap here. Will Kimi Antonelli be able to get past George Russell at the restart? Safety car, I will say in a second now. Should say them about now. Now, yes it is now. It will be in Kimi Antonelli vs George Russell for the leads, but I reckon it'll be Kimi Antonelli versus Charles Leclerc for the rest of his race. Notice when I want the onboard camera, it never gives me it. When I don't want it always gives me it. Also, I think they need to fix the track when it comes to barriers and stuff. Sometimes barriers are a bit too close to the track and it's hard to see in TV mode. There we go. Don't want onboard camera right now. It is. Go, go, go. Green lights once again here. George Russell seems to have a good lunch. No, there goes Kimi Antonelli. Down the inside for the lead, potentially. No, he backs out from it. He's going to stay backing out from it. Now we're going to look at the back here a little bit. Any guys going side by side? Yes, there is. There's these two as well. And there is a crash. There's a big accident. There's a car on my side. And there seems to be a bit of damage there. It looks like it was a, potentially, Carlos Sainz involved in that. The yellow flag still down at the back there as we got Lance Stroll going a bit slowly. Track is cleared. Carlos Sainz is involved, and he's got front wing damage. Joshua Pierce just breezes by him. He has got a lot of front wing damage. He finished second place last race. Well, now I don't think he's going to finish in the points. His teammate is going to cruise by him into the corner here. He's going very slowly. Carlos Sainz, now I'm lost. His teammate's nowhere near him. I don't know what I'm on about. His teammate's going very slowly. Who am I watching? I'm watching Alex Albon. Alex Albon's also going slowly. He's going very slowly as well. In fact, Sorry, I missed this, but Kimi Antonelli leads the race. I missed it, but Kimi Antonelli does lead the race, and Lewis Hamilton is in second place. I was too busy watching the crash there. We saw a car on its side. I'm trying to think who it was we saw on its sides, but he seemed to have rolled over and fixed himself. Pierre Gasly down the inside into the final corner of Carlos Sainz. Breezes by him. Carlos Sainz will be pitting this lap. Kimi Antonelli's got a good lead. Charles Leclerc has overtaken Lewis Hamilton by a landslide now. For third place, we see a battle there with Ollie Behrman and Max Verstappen. Ollie Behrman and Verstappen side by side in turn 2. We see how they get close they like to get, and there is a contact, and Behrman and Verstappen are in the wall. Behrman and Verstappen are in the wall, and at turn 2, for Behrman's got a 5-second penalty. They all just continue to crash here. Behrman's in the wall, and I do think we'll see George Russell finishing the points now because of all these crashes. Verstappen sent down outside the grid. Points now. Does Behrman have any throwing damage? And the answer to that is no. There was Behrman in the wall there. Charles Leclerc has got past George Russell as Russell falls down to third. Lewis Hamilton can still finish in the podium this race. Joshua Pierce can still get a fourth place this race. Joshua Pierce is fast enough. He might be able to get Lewis Hamilton and get up to third, as long as he stays close to George Russell for the 5-second penalty. Arvid Lindblad gets past Verstappen. As we go up to the front now, we got to be watching this front. I don't know what I'm doing, I'm lacking quite a bit here. Lewis Hamilton, does he wait to attack Russell on track? We've seen how this track is. It is absolutely, definitely this track. The AI just lovely crash. Will Lewis Hamilton through the final corner onto the start finish straight now? Will Lewis Hamilton attack Russell into turn 1? I'm watching the time screens to see who's close to each other, to potentially see if we can get a side-by-side battle into turn 2 here. Carlos Sainz does not pit. I think we're going to see Lindblad. Carlos Sainz does pit? No, he does not pit. Fernando Alonso on the inside of Carlos Sainz now. Isaac Hadjar on the inside of Carlos Sainz now. No. Isaac Hadjar on the inside of Carlos Sainz now. There's no contact for there now, is there? Watching them further back, who's got, just making sure everybody gets through. Turn 2 cleanly on the last lap. Lewis Hamilton, Joshua Pierce has dropped down into the grasps of Pierre Gasly. Joshua Pierce better watch out. We might lose time to George Russell. And that 5-second penalty is crucial. I don't think he will. Charles Leclerc though, it's all over. Kimi Antonelli within a second, but can we see a dive bomb into the final corner of the race for Charles Leclerc to get the win? Or will it be Kimi Antonelli into the final corner now? Kimi Antonelli or Charles Leclerc? Who will be? Charles Leclerc looks on the inside, but no, through the final corner now, it will be Kimi Antonelli in Malaysia to win the first race here in Malaysia. Kimi Antonelli crosses the line to win the Malaysian Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc sets the fastest lap of the race. George Russell crosses the line third, will not finish third. He'll finish lower than third, definitely. Behrman, he will not finish in 16th. I think Russell's been lucky enough to get a podium. Fernando Alonso crosses the line there for 12th place. A good result for Aston Martin, given how that car is. I'm starting to question, I might have been an Aston Martin. Yeah, it wasn't Aston Martin who was flung up into the air. I don't know how the Aston Martin was that high up, but there was. But you see the damage he's running with. It's crazy. Crosses the line now to finish P19 for Lance Stroll. But it is Kimi Antonelli to win the Grand Prix, with Charles Leclerc in second and Lewis Hamilton in third. Double podium for Ferrari. Lewis Hamilton P20 to P3, which I did not expect. I was saying earlier, I doubt I'll see him in the points. I was right with Verstappen, we didn't see Verstappen in the points. But Kimi Antonelli wins the Malaysian Grand Prix. He won the Chinese Grand Prix in real life and in this game, in Season 1 in this game, and he won the Chinese Grand Prix in 2025. Who will we see win out in Turkey in next race before we head to Australia, China. Next up is Turkey. This race was so hard to keep up with everything going on. Joshua Pierce took 4th place for Apex GP, which is incredible, but it is Kimi Antonelli who wins for Italy and for Mercedes in Malaysia. Charles Leclerc second, Lewis Hamilton in third after starting in P20, Joshua Pierce 4th, 5th Pierre Gasly 6th, Oscar Piastri, he had quite a decent recovery since he got that 5-second penalty. George Russell In 7th after his 5-second penalty. 8th, Gabriel Borleo. 9th, Esteban Ocon. 10th, May Hayes. 11th, Arvid Lindblad. 12th, Fernando Alonso. 13th, Isaac Hadjar. 14th, Max Verstappen. They dropped down after their qualifying positions and after their penalties. Did Verstappen have a penalty? I don't think he did. He was just taking that, wasn't he? And then we got Alex Albon, Oli Berman, Carlos Sainz, Sergio Perez, and Lance Stroll. And then we got our several DNFs in Lando Norris for McLaren, Alex Dunn for Braun, Yuki Tsunoda for Porsche, Nico Hulkenberg for Audi, and Valtteri Bottas for. Here's the driver standings. Kimi Antonelli leads the driver standings for the first time. He is on 47 points, with Lewis Hamilton in second place at 33 points, and Charles Leclerc in equal second place with 33 points, and George Russell in fourth place with 31 points. Alex Albon, who version the points once this season so far in round 2, and got 25 points in 5th place. Joshua Pierce, after scoring 12 points this race, he is currently sitting on 20 points in 6th place. Gabriel Borletto is currently sitting 7th with 19 points. Pierre Gasly equal with him on 19 points. Carlos Sainz there with 18. Oscar Piastri in 10th on 18. And Lando Norris in 11th on 12. Esteban Ocon in 12th on 12. Sonny Hayes in 13th on 7. Max Verstappen in 14th on 6. Lance Stroll in 15th on 2. And Valtteri Bottas on 16th on 1 point. And its rest, you can see there, have not finished the points once this season. And here's the constructor standings. It's Mercedes 78, Ferrari 66, Williams 43, McLaren 30, Apex 27, Braun 19, Audi 19, TJR Haas 12, Red Bull 6, Aston 2, Cadillac 1, Porsche 0. It is Lance Stroll's got 2 points for Aston Martin. But next up is the Turkish Grand Prix. And you guessed it, Turkey. Please make sure you stick around for that. And don't miss out. Until next time, see you.